Welcome to What One Thing, a Smart Meetings podcast sharing inspirational wisdom from savvy leaders about what they did and do that has made all the difference in their work and their lives. I'm JT Long. I'm Editorial Director with Smart Meetings, and this is Marin Bright. She's our founder and CEO and Chief Idea Officer. Marin, why are you so passionate about this topic, and why do we need a podcast about this right now?
Oh, I think it's a perfect time, and I am super passionate about this. It's been in the works for a while, but the time is right. We are arising out of one of the biggest setbacks universally ever in the world coming out of COVID. There are so many opportunities now in the light of what has happened. Controversy or setbacks always lead to opportunities. And so I feel like at Smart Meetings, our job is to inspire and to give our folks and our followers some really good inspiration to keep moving forward and to get better and better.
I think that's a fabulous idea, and I'm so excited to hear your What One Thing. Marin, what has made all the difference in your life and career?
Well, I have to say, I think that a lot of times adversity does lead to inspiration. And in my experience, I looked at the horizon and 2007, and I was asking those questions of yourself. What could I do that could really lead our industry forward? What could I do that was new and different? And a lot of trade shows were going on. A lot of suppliers were spending a lot of money to go there to not have the planner turnout that they had wanted. And I was looking for a new way to meet. And so asking, pondering, years went by, and I came across this one little speed dating show. Now, mind you, this was a long time ago, and there was no one-on-one appointments for speed dating or anything like that. And I saw it, and I knew that that was the something that I wanted to bring forward into our industry. So without anybody else doing it, I came back, I started a checklist like a good meeting planner, and I was so excited to lead the industry with this new way of meeting, this new way of really guaranteeing that we would be able to connect, unlike trade shows, which were often a hit and miss, flyby. I'd go to meet somebody, they'd be at lunch, they'd come to find me, or they were hoping I'd stop by, and there was a lot of that. So this seemed like a really good idea. And then, of course, had all the places and all the checklists were done and everything was ready to rock and roll. And I got diagnosed with breast cancer. I was not planning on that at all. And the good news is my birth mother, who I'd been waiting for a little while to adopt my son. So I had a collide between starting this really exciting new event business to add on to our company. I was dealing with breast cancer, chemo, radiation, all of that good stuff. And I had an infant on my hip. And I would say that you could say, oh, well, Marin, those are three things, but it did really culminate into one thing. And that one thing that I learned was grit. I mean, I was so determined not to let that keep me down that I packed Quentin up. I got a great wig. It wasn't without a lot of struggle, I remember we hosted one of our first events at the Grand Del Mar, and I got up every morning and half my hair was on the pillow, and I was going up to speak on the microphone, and I didn't want anybody to know that I was battling cancer. I didn't want the events to be about me, and this is a super competitive industry. I didn't want to be vulnerable, so I needed to keep my game face on and to move forward. So I'm sure as I share my story, and time has gone by, we've been at it now for 15 years. We were the first out there, and it was tough to launch. I will say planners didn't really know what that meant. Many people were like, okay, well, I did 3 meetings. I think I'll go now. So lots of struggles in that, lots of struggles to overcome health challenges, as many people are experiencing now, whether it be mental health or physical health or, COVID and these things that are now out there to get us, that we all have to be much more aware of that than ever. And certainly the idea of combining work-life balance when I had a child and a business to save, and my child became very resilient at the same time, traveled everywhere, was up on the stage with me. He was totally accepted and part of the game plan. Of course, I had many others that were taking him, so he wasn't interrupting the business. But all of that came together to really what one thing is the power of muscling through, not giving up. I had a lot of people who told me I should just go home and curl up with my baby and get well. For me, that grit, that resiliency landed us in a place that accelerated smart meetings. It accelerated the events industry. Now everybody and their brother has a one-on-one speed dating. Thank you very much. That's the side effect of doing something that works. And my kid is alive and well, and I've been cancer-free for 15 years. So I would say to our audiences, you're all going to have struggles. You're all going to have strives. I hope you have lots of inspiration with new exciting ideas as we arise out of this, and that you are able to find true grit to get yourself through that, because it is really worth it on the other side.
Absolutely. And now your events are legendary, and your son is a teenager, and here you are inspiring all of us. It sounds really exciting, but it also sounds really hard. Is there something you would tell yourself when you got up and you were tired and you had a whole list of to-do things to do? And how did you get yourself through those days?
Oh, sure. There's always that. I'm still tired. But I do think that when you have a purpose and a clear motivation and a passion and all of that, I truly do believe that I was motivated by not fail. I didn't want to fail. It gave me a purpose. I didn't want to be sick, so I didn't want to go home and give in to that. Actually, what's best for me is to put things aside and to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I find that's a very healthy way for me to deal with things. And I think that keeping my eye on the ball, I'll tell you, there's nothing like being at events to be all absorbed and have no time to think about any of your problems, because there's so much going on. And back in the day, we were really hustling because there was two of us and we were quite large, being the only game in town. So it was turned out to be really good medicine.
Well, that's great advice. You are a true inspiration, Marin. Thank you for sharing your personal story.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I'm so excited to have this be a platform moving forward that we can share. I'm kicking it off today. It's not going to be all about me. It's going to be about all kinds of amazing, resilient, phenomenal, inspirational people that you and I have encountered in all of our travels over these last years being out there, that we feel that our audience and our following could really glean some great inspiration. And we've got a big message. We really led out there with the events world. And I just shared a story about what I did and how I got personally into this. And I'd love to share more of the logistics. But I also want to say that everybody has a great idea. Everybody's got it within them to come up with something that's revolutionary. I'm not unique to that. The secret is acting on it. And I also want to say that we all have adversity. We all have challenges and setbacks. And I am not saying that the only way to get ahead is to just suck it up and go for it like I did, because that was my way of keeping myself healthy and healing. If you need to go into it and be quiet and stay in bed for a month, I recommend that as well. So no judgment there on that. What it really was about was the passion, and what I was wanting to share was the passion that I felt to launch this events business within the meetings industry that had never been done before, and that those other things that were quite mighty really did not get in my way, because my passion was so strong and I was so clear and so driven and been culminating this for so long that when the time came, I don't think a brick wall would have gotten in my way. So there we were. And the vision, which is what you originally asked me, I wanted to create something that really didn't exist, that was more, I guess it would be Neiman Marcus versus Costco if you were looking at retail world. That didn't exist. Trade shows being a Costco. I wanted something that was much higher end, that really created relationships, that people were able to connect, that gave us a good reason. And everything that I curated at those first events was spurned from that motivation. It also kind of helps. I was known in college and for many years early in my marriage as a great connector and a fabulous party thrower, and I do enjoy doing that. I am very proud of the fact that many people left my wedding best friends that never knew each other before, because I spent my reception hooking people up and introducing each other. I just love doing it. It's in my DNA. So that being said, it only makes sense that I would be making my living doing that. I also, though, have, I think, a great sense of style and an ability to create comfort. You've never come to my house or seen, but people comment on that all the time. I've been asked to be featured in magazines because I think I'm really capable of creating these comfort sectionals that create conversation, which really is an art, and being able to bring that to the meetings industry, having the right kind of setting that sets it up so that people are engaged and they feel warmth and they feel welcomed and they feel included. And those were things that we were doing long before anybody was really ever even talking about it. And then let's face it, meeting planners, the days the hotel industry changed, people were looking at hotels as being much more of an experience. It was no longer my day. I used to work in the hotels. It was a place that you slept and you parked your car, but you'd be hard pressed to eat there. It was very rare that you maybe you had breakfast in the diner, but hotels weren't known for the restaurants. And then Kimpton and Campton Place, I think, were some of the first that really created. Well, meetings were known for their rubber chicken. So I really wanted to break out of that. And, meetings tend to follow life, and people were having better experiences, spawing. Hotels now had spas and full amenities and views. And it had really, the hotel industry had taken a leap up. The bed had to be just so, thank goodness. So I wanted to bring that leap up within the meetings industry. And so that's exactly what we did. We curated amazing meals. Our breaks weren't just, cheese and crackers. Our speakers were much more on topic. And it was really meant to be a much more intimate opportunity for folks to really get to know each other on a different level, way beyond dates and rates. And I see that in so many places now, and I'm so proud. After we launched, I guess our official launch was 2008, I saw a planner and a gal I just love. She used to be with the Hyatt in New Orleans, Jan, walking out to dinner after PCMA's reception. And I knew they met at Smart Meetings, and I love that kind of being able to do that kind of connecting.
Well, and you do it so well, Marin. I think most people would say, and what they have told me is that the one thing that's different about going to a Smart Meetings experience, and the one thing that you do, is you make them feel special.
Well, that's important to me. And that's important. That's, my family was like that. Hosting meant including, and it meant connecting, and it meant pampering the person who dropped by so they loved coming by your house. And we were quite skilled at that as a family. So it was really in my DNA to do that. So super fun. And I get a lot of rewards. And I'm so happy that so many people have felt that way.
So do you feel that that one thing is something that anyone could adopt, and how could others put that into their lives?
Your one thing is what's good, what's true to you, right? So your one thing might be that you have a secret sauce for something in technology, or your one thing could be innovating, or, a lot of times there's plenty of things out there that exist in the world and you could do it better. So everybody's got one thing, and also the what one thing that inspired you, what drove you, what created. That's what these podcasts, that's what we want them to be about. Not only what one idea one could springboard forward to accelerate their career or their personal success or their well-being, but what one thing could you glean to help get you there. So we're going to take these on over this next year and hopefully bring to people these ideas that are bite-sized so that you can digest it easily and walk away with something that's truly actionable.
All right. Well, consider this the official launch of the Smart Meetings What One Thing podcast.
Have lots of great people above and beyond me. I don't want this to be a shameless, but I think you got to start in your own backyard first. So here we are, and get ready for some true inspiration moving forward and ideas.
Thanks for kicking us off, Marin.
Oh, thank you. And let's get ready. Here we go.
Smart Meetings What One Thing was produced by Bright Business Media. Visit smartmeetings.com to subscribe to your daily dose of inspiration.